Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back once again.
Ask me why I'm not smiling, Gus.
Why aren't you smiling?
Because I am unhappy, Gus.
Allie, why are you unhappy?
Because fuck this kid, Gus.
Are you telling me?
Because I've had enough of this dude.
Because that's where I'm at. Welcome back.
I can't wait for Lucy Gray to dump his ass.
Welcome back to Wheel Takes, a podcast that is nominally about the Wheel of Time, but it practically today not. It's about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is a book that Suzanne Collins wrote.
And did we ever find a snake, Gus?
Oh,
did we
man.
ever find a snake?
It's almost like he's been right there under our nose this entire time.
Well, okay, we never liked him, but we definitely don't like him now.
No, he's the worst. This episode only contains spoilers for things that we've already read. I'm Gus, and what I've already read is Ballad through chapter 27.
Me too.
Also the main trilogy. And this is a podcast. I already said that.
Gus.
Yes.
Where did we leave off?
I'm sure Coriolanus Snow did some jackass nonsense, right? What was
right.
The last thing that happened? There was the hanging tree, and then he hung out with Lucy Gray, I assume. He's been doing that a lot.
And then Billy Tope was creepy.
Sejanus was drawing a map of the base.
Yeah, looking at the map.
Right. You don't want to do that, Sejanus. This is terrible.
And we find out that they wanted to find out if Lil is okay, which I go, no.
Probably not. Gotta know
what
what
a
she
dumb
did.
Question.
But there we go. You know, this is unfortunate. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
3 chapters today, 3 chapters next week.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie.
And then we're done.
And that's it. I'm sad.
Me too.
I've had so much fun.
Me too.
Oh well. Hey,
what?
it's an odd chapter 25.
So
Not an even one, I mean. I'm not saying it's strange. It's not. It's a totally normal chapter.
So it's me
But
who's
it's
reading.
you.
Yeah, but first we have to read our notes.
We do. I have a few.
All right, you go first.
Oh, so it's everyone hates the Covey time. This whole conversation is so heavily snow-coated. Oh, Snow said the same thing. I don't want to talk to Sejanus about why the districts are or are not people. Be serious. Imagine being a real friend, Coriolanus. God, this kid sucks.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Maud Ivory's all bent out of shape about Dee's nuts.
I was not expecting that.
That's what she says. She says Maud Ivory's all bent out of shape about the fact that you're not helping with the nuts.
Yes,
or whatever.
that's true. She is bent.
So anyway, I couldn't resist. Careful, Billy Tope. You fucked over District 12 Taylor Swift, and she will go full all too well on your ass. She already kind of has.
Yeah, well, she very publicly. Oh,
Yeah.
and now we know what the bet he lost in the reaping was.
Yeah.
Was that
he thought he could be with both of them.
Yeah.
Which,
Dumb.
even
Stupid.
in the goddamn apocalypse,
Dumb.
men are trifling.
Dumb. Just stupid.
What a surprise. I feel like my suspicion of men who go by a nickname
Yes?
has been validated. Billy Tope.
Oh, yeah,
So I
garbage.
guess you go by nicknames. You're the exception.
It's not a nickname. It's just a shorter version of the...
That
Billy's
isn't
not
that
a nickname.
It's a nickname for William.
That count as I don't think that counts as a nickname.
Allie is a nickname.
I don't think that counts as...
Yes,
that
the
really?
shortened version of your name is a nickname.
All right. I've never really considered that a nickname. I would consider a nickname to be like Slim or, Fleabag.
Well, that's
or...
what are these nicknames?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The shortened version of your name is a nickname.
All right. I'll buy it.
Just saying. Ugh, this thesis statement Lucy Gray is saying about keeping Maud Ivory from starving and the different standards for men and women is heartbreaking. It's interesting that, oh, by the way, the nerve of Billy Tope to slut shame Lucy Gray after he cheated on her
It's pretty bad.
and then caused her to get reaped
It's pretty bad. This guy's a chump.
is a level of audacity only outmatched by Coriolanus Snow. Now, here's the thing. Lucy's taste in men is bad.
It's really quite terrible.
One of the worst I've ever seen. But I think she's doing it for the songwriting. I really do.
Okay, sure.
You know, like to a certain extent, like, do we think that maybe Taylor Swift occasionally dates men who she knows will be shitheads because the album that will come out will be so fire?
It's very possible. It's very possible.
I'm just saying. It's interesting that they've got a goat and Prim had a goat.
A lot of nice
But
little
also,
thematic parallels in here.
I might be looking for connections where there are none, but I just was like, a goat and a goat. You know who else had a goat? Primrose Everdeen.
You know who else is the goat? Peter Millar.
I was going to say Sylvia. God.
That is a deep cut on an Edward Albee joke.
Is Edward Albee a deep cut?
For the general public, outside of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, I think so.
Fine. But if you're going to
listen,
know a second Edward Albee play
it's
that
the
isn't
goat.
Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, it's the goat.
Or it's Zeus Story. Anyway.
No, Zeus Story's a way deeper cut than the goat.
All right, fine.
I think. My Edward Albee fans, tell me, which is a deeper cut, Zeus Story or the goat? Okay, I think that everybody who knows about the goat is like, isn't that the one where the guy fucks a goat?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the one where the guy fucks a goat.
That is the one about the guy fucking the goat. How do you get cream and how do you get milk? I'm not a farmer, so I don't actually know. Okay, I looked it up.
Yeah.
And now I know. It's basically slight planned decomp as opposed to cheese, which is even more planned decomp.
Yeah.
Because basically it's like cream is the fat that floats to the
you
top.
take off the curds, right?
No, curds is something different.
Never mind.
Curds is like
I don't know what
nasty.
I'm talking about. Okay.
Well, I guess curds you put in cheese, right?
Yeah.
Because cheese curds?
Yeah, cheese. Curds are the chunky part.
Yeah. But that's not the cream. The cream is like the stuff under the chunky part, I think.
Yes, I trust you.
Anyway, basically what it said
I just know that it's called skimming.
if you have whole milk, it eventually separates, right? So like the milk part's on the bottom and the cream part's on the top. And the cream's like where all the fat is.
Sure.
And then I was like, so then is butter just harder cream? I really went down a rabbit hole. This is why it took me so long to read these chapters, because Gus kept messaging me like, are you ready to record?
Well, only because we have a deadline. That's the only reason.
Because, yeah. So then I was like, so then is butter harder cream? Okay, I looked it up and kind of.
Is butter harder cream?
Well, because butter's just like fat, right?
Harder cream. Yeah,
like,
butter's milk fat, I think.
Just like, is it just harder cream? Like,
on a scale of
because
hardness.
cream is to the fat.
With skim milk all
and
the way
butter
at
is
one
fat.
side and cheddar all the way at the other. Where do you land?
So I was really confused. And I don't know anything about this. And I was like, maybe I should, because I'm a human being who consumes this stuff. So then, cream is milk that's basically been left out a bit, and the fattier part of the milk is able to rise to the top, and that's cream. And butter is the result of churning whole milk or cream that separates the fat. So like we get the fattier thing, and then we make it even fattier.
Double fatty.
Yeah, double fatty. And it basically separates the fat, becoming that coagulates, and that's butter. And then the rest is like a sourer milk that tastes more buttery. That is buttermilk. This is what I learned. So did the Covey go to Canada? If this is the United States, and they're like, it's north.
No.
More north than the capital cares about. I was like, is this Canada?
No, what's north of District 12?
Not District 13.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was just like an additional group. No, because they would
District
know
13
about District 13.
Who would?
No, I think it's like, so you know how you see the map of...
District 13 is like DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely... The implication here, I thought, was that they went to District 13.
But they know about District 13.
Who knows about District 13?
The capital. When they said this is a place that... They said that this was before the war. They went so north, the capital didn't care about it. But that would be... The capital would have cared about District 13 at that time. So it was north of District 13.
It was. She's talking about before the war?
Yeah, she was talking about before the war.
Oh, well then, yeah. It's
when Maud Ivory was a baby, they would travel so far north.
Maud Ivory's 8.
Or maybe before Maud Ivory was born.
Well, if it's before the war, then yeah, I assume they meant Canada.
I thought they were meant before the war. So then I was like, what, did they go to Canada?
And
then what made it funny was Snow was like, oh, I bet they're just like going around with like sharp sticks and shit. I'm like, they're super uncivilized. And I'm like, oh yeah. Uncivilized Canada, eh?
I mean, in the climate apocalypse,
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
What happened to you all up there?
Listen, all we know is that that Panem had a genetic arc.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that there are other pockets of people elsewhere.
I'm sure there are. I think it's just it's always been something where I've gone, I wonder what's going on in the rest of the world.
Oh yeah, and so then Coriolanus is hoping he can hang out with Lucy and is disappointed because she basically, once food is done, has to start preparing to perform. And I said, yeah, people don't realize how much preparation goes into performing, even if it's improv.
It's a lot.
There's so much rehearsing and getting stage ready and vocal warm-ups and getting into the mental headspace you need to perform well. Not to mention if you're a band, tuning instruments and the transport. It's a whole thing. Yeah, they're probably going to execute Sejanus and they were probably going to execute Sejanus and Daddy bought him out of trouble. But Daddy's not here now.
It does, right? Yeah, because
what Gall said was that
like,
he was
fucking
doing treason.
Kill him. Yeah, I don't give a shit what happened to him. And then he had to buy, it was a gym and another lab, right?
But then what's kind of wild.
And the Plinth Prize?
Yeah, he did a gym, a lab, and the Plinth Prize, which is pretty wild. But I think it's pretty interesting that she was afterwards, she was like, I mean, execute him, but she made Coriolanus go get him? Maybe so that they could do it without, like, it potentially being caught on camera?
Yeah, I think it's kind of, no, don't let the district kids kill you. We'll kill you first.
We want that distinction of having killed you. So we're going to put another child at risk in the hopes that we get the opportunity to kill you. Sounds reasonable. Okay. Sejanus really can't catch a fucking break. But he's also a bad judge of character. Like a really bad one. It's pretty unfortunate. You know what's also annoying to me about while reading all of this is that Coriolanus thinks that everyone does or should think like him. When I'm like, they're being nice to you.
Well,
or
there's that.
They don't think you're a shithead.
The other thing that pisses me off about Coriolanus, and looking back, this is kind of a retrospective, the entire series, the entire book thing. He shirks responsibility for every single one of his actions.
Oh my God.
Every single
true.
thing he does, he's like, well, the circumstances, I had to. There was no choice. I had no choice but to beat Bobbin to death after I had knocked Bobbin off me. I had no choice but to go into the arena. And that maybe the arena. I had no choice but to, I don't know, give Lucy Gray rat poison. Some of the things are good. Some of the things are bad. But even at the end of this section,
but there's no responsibility taken.
He doesn't take any responsibility. He chalks everything up to, well, the circumstances mandated this.
I'm a victim.
And it ties in perfectly with the fallacy, I think, in Volumnia Gall's life philosophy, where she's like, well, in these circumstances, we're nothing but beasts. When you strip away civilization, we're nothing but beasts. And I was listening to some of our older discussions about this, just thinking back about the book as a whole, and it's wild how quickly Coriolanus Snow just kind of uses that as an excuse to justify his own behavior, because he just goes, well, the circumstances I couldn't help but do this. He even yields autonomy to his own arm, and I think it's meant to be slightly facetious at the end of this section here, but he goes like, well, listen, it was basically my hand acting on its own to hit record on the Jabberjay. And I know he doesn't literally mean that, but he's saying like, well, this is simply what must be. And I think the issue with that line of thinking is that all of these people do have free will to make their own choices. Coriolanus is just actively making the most selfish, shittiest choices possible.
He absolutely would have eaten the maid leg and been like, there's nothing I could do.
Yeah, he absolutely would have. But that's the thing, he judges other people.
Yeah, for doing what they have to do.
For doing what they have to do. And all those things he has to do, he doesn't even have to.
No, most of the things he claims he has to do, he doesn't have to. But then he judges people who genuinely did have to.
Yeah.
He's annoying. And I fucking hate him.
Sejanus is out here actively making choices. They're bad choices some of the time. But there's dumb things he does.
But he takes responsibility for them always.
He takes responsibility, yeah.
Even for things where I'm like, you don't have to take responsibility for that, babe.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
Yeah, putting Coriolanus at risk. I'm like, Gull's responsibility was putting Coriolanus at risk, not yours. In that particular instance, I think he was like, I'm the worst for doing that. And I'm like, well, you weren't the one who made him go, and he didn't even want to go. It was Gall.
Also, one other thing, by the way, about Volumnia's Gall's whole her whole, because we in previous episodes we've talked about this and you go, yeah, but my neighbors are nice, people are good. I think it's important to remember that Gall's worldview is predicated on the idea that, okay, but without a safe environment and without a promise of security and without a surplus of ample food and without all these things, then people are savage and terrible. And I go, well, you're assuming a lot of withouts, for one thing.
I certainly think that's true of some people.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true of all people. And here's the thing. I saw this thing that was awesome, where somebody was asking this anthropologist, at what point do you feel like the thing that you're studying has become a civilization?
Yeah.
It's something to that effect. I think it was an anthropologist. And she paused for a long time, and then she said, a healed femur.
Yes, I remember I've seen this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, because to me, a healed femur is a bad enough injury that if there's evidence that it is healed, it means that that person had to have been cared for to the detriment of the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Right? Because they can't move as quickly. They can't, they have to expend a lot of resources to keep that person alive and, allow the amount of time that it takes for that femur to heal. And that level of care for someone in a selfless way and the expenditure of resources in such a selfless way for the benefit of an individual is a sign of a civilization.
Yeah.
Because it takes organization and a certain amount of empathy and a certain amount of we have the resources and also the
Sorry, the dog and his cone are bouncing around the room for whatever reason.
and we have the ability, both emotionally and through resources, to care for this person because we're organized and empathetic. And to me, that's what civilization in its best forms should be. It's the ability of the whole to uplift everybody else. And take care of everybody else, not, as Gall seems to prescribe it, the ability of the whole to oppress the individual.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is the thing that gets me, I think, about Volumnia Gall's, I don't know why I'm saying her full name all of a sudden, but the thing that gets me about Gall's philosophy
just that,
here,
you want to use her government name because you're mad at her.
Yes, yeah, is even the way she explains it is predicated on an idea of extreme scarcity. And the capital is not currently, Panem is not a place of extreme scarcity. It's a place.
Not now, anyway.
Yeah. And I don't think it really even was during the war. It was just during the war, the districts cut off food to the capital, and now the capital cuts off food to the districts. So it's all artificial scarcity. It's just.
Well, yeah, it's just cruelty disguised as government.
Yeah.
And that's my thing, is there's this illusion that seems to exist both in the capital and also elsewhere that there are limited slices of the pie.
Yeah, zero sum.
That we all have to be grabbing at these slices of the pie because there aren't enough to go around. And after a certain point, I just go, that's just not true. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at the amount of resources that exist, it's just not true.
Yeah.
So there is a forced scarcity that's happening that's forcing people to, think that the only way is to abuse themselves and other people.
Yeah. It's this idea that there must be haves and have-nots.
Yeah. And
is kind
that's
of what
just
her
so
thing.
Untrue.
And I get listen, maybe if you're in an actual, Fallout style post-apocalypse where there's one piece of bread and 50 people. But again, even then, you might try to make something else work.
Yeah, I mean, again, maybe we should be looking for more food in that particular instance and banding together to look for more food if there's one piece of bread rather than all fight over the same piece. Maybe we use all of our resources to try and figure out where there will inevitably be a Twinkie factory.
All that to say, Gall sucks.
Goss sucks. Look for the Twinkie Factory.
Speaking of Twinkies, which is a commercial company, here's some ads. Welcome back. The segues are getting worse, and I'm here for it. Chapter 25.
Chapter 25. Sejanus, startled in what Coriolanus couldn't help thinking was a guilty manner.
God damn it.
Getting rapidly to his feet as he brushed the dust from his uniform.
I'm sick of this kid already.
Billy Tope, who I'm
Not
also
Sejanus.
sick of, on the other hand, rose slowly, almost lazily, to confront them.
It's a different kind of sick of.
Well, look who's decided to talk to me, he said, grinning uneasily at Lucy Gray. Was this the first time they'd spoken since the Hunger Games? And she talks about how Maud Ivory's out of shape about these nuts. D's nuts. And she and Billy Tope have a very charged exchange. And she says, "You don't get it. There's no walking this back." And he says, "You know I didn't try and kill you. I know you're still running with the girl that did.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Here you've made yourself right at home at the mayor's. And who sent me over there in the first place, I wonder? Makes me sick how you're playing the kids. Poor Lucy Gray, poor lamb." And he says to her, "This your fancy man from the capital? Chased all this way after you? He's got a few surprises waiting for him."
Yeah, like the fact that, you know, there's a lot of rebels. And like the fact that he sucks and is the worst.
Yeah. And he says, You'll learn soon enough." And Lucy says to Coriolanus, "If you want to run, now's the time." "I don't want to run. He's a liar and a louse. Sure, I flirt with anybody. It's part of my job. But what he's implying, that just isn't true. And what if it was? What if it was that or letting Maud Ivory starve? Neither of us would have let that happen, no matter what it took. Only he's got a different set of rules for him than for me, like always. What makes him a victim makes me trash." I just thought that little quick monologue was so real.
It's pretty moving.
Well, yeah, I mean, women are just held to these impossible standards.
Yes.
And even the things that they do for survival, when there's a man in her life doing basically the same thing, right? He's cheating people and gambling and doing all this stuff. She's the problem. Even though he cheated on her. Wait, no, this is the audacity for me. He cheats on her with another woman, right? And doesn't tell her about it, isn't honest with her. That woman tries to get her killed, and he's going to come in here and slut shame her?
This guy's giving
Absolutely go fuck yourself.
Even more Gale energy. There's a lot of Gale going around here. This man is garbage.
Billy Dope over here. It's just that thing that this bothers me. But Coriolanus is doing it too. He slut shames her all the time in his head, right? And then Tigris was the one who had to point out, like, so what if she did sleep around with people to stay alive?
Cares,
like, who
dude?
the fuck cares?
Yeah, this is the conversation I said is very snow-coated.
Yeah, it's like Billy Tope is just snow in a different color.
Yellow snow?
We've got Snow White and Taupe White.
Well, wouldn't we Snow White and Snow Taupe? Because taupe is a color?
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking because isn't taupe like basically beige?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was thinking of it like they're just different shades of white.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Like it's a horse of a different but very similar color.
There's kind of a trend in the Hunger Games of toxic men.
Slut-shaming women,
Slut-shaming women and like being deeply judgmental when women interact at all with other men.
Yes. God forbid. And you know what? That's not just a Hunger Games problem. That's a world problem. Like, God, women can't fucking do anything without someone having something to say. Leave women alone. God. Just fucking dickheads. This just makes me freaking furious. Honestly. It's
infuriating.
What makes him a victim makes me trash. He fucked her over, nearly got her killed, and has the audacity to be in here being like, she hurt my feelings? Fuck you. And being like, you turned the kids against me?
Maybe you shouldn't have been a chump about it.
He should be on her knees begging her forgiveness.
Maybe
God
you shouldn't have
damn.
been the worst, Billy Tope. I understand you're a rebel, you're doing rebel stuff, but you feel more like
kid with my shoe.
Feel more like a Gale than a PETA. I like how Gale has just become the byword for shit man.
He's just a shit man. These shitty men who won't let women fucking do anything. Like, God, are you alive or aren't you? God, fuck. Sorry. Just leave women alone. Ugh, they just pick at you like you're a freaking piece of pizza.
Well, now I want pizza.
Sorry.
Why would you do this?
You know what I mean?
As a man, I'm the victim in this situation.
They pick at you like you're a piece of pizza with toppings they don't like. But they never like any of the topping options.
What's the pineapple in this metaphor?
I don't know. Pick me girls. So then we get a little bit of the mayor's daughter lore.
Yeah, I got bingo square for that one.
I think I did too. So she said, I sent him over there to pick up some cash teaching piano lessons. Next thing I know, her daddy's calling my name in the reaping. Not sure what she told him. He'd go nuts if he knew she was running around with Billy Tope.
So my question now sort of becomes, is Billy Tope doing this purely because he's a shit fuck? Or is this some kind of like hidden subversive rebel activity where he's, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure that's the way he would justify it. He is doing
rebel shit, so it could be him like being like, I'm going to distance myself from you for your protection. But he comes up.
And like getting in with Mayfair so that he has access to.
Well, maybe that's part of it. But why wouldn't he tell her that?
Yeah, well, to keep her safe, I guess. Listen, I'm not on his team at all.
But he's also trying to get her to run away with him, a la Gale. Because he came to her and was like, meet me at the hanging tree, baby.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Where we like to hang at the hanging tree. Yeah. And she says, well, I survived the Capitol, but not to come back for more of the same. Unfortunately, you just have a horse of a different color.
Even worse color.
Right. So they're milking some goats, which made me go down a goat milk versus cream versus butter
rabbit hole.
That's how ADHD works. I stopped for like 20 minutes to find out the difference. So they've got to go to a wedding to play, and they decide they're going to meet at the hub if they are allowed to play on Sunday. And he goes over to Sejanus and says, I'm weighing in now, Sejanus. Why were you in deep discussion with him over a map of the base? What is he, a rebel sympathizer? What possible interest can he have in a capital base? It's the girl from the hanging, the one they arrested the other day. Lil, she's locked up in there. And the rebels want to rescue her? No, they just want to communicate with her, make sure she's all right. And you said you would help. She's not all right.
No.
There's definitely no way. Okay, can I go off about this for a second? And yes. I mean no disrespect at all, except I'm going to be very disrespectful right now.
Please.
What was the plan, Lil?
Oh,
her going to that execution was fucking dumb. Why was she at the execution in the first place?
I don't know.
Okay, why was she at the execution in the first place? If I were Arlo, because I'm assuming they were hooking up, right? I'm assuming that was what was going on, and that's why she screamed
in the song, right? The Hanging Tree song?
Yeah. So my thing is why was she there? And if she was there, what was the plan? If you showed up at my execution with no reinforcements and no plan other than what appeared to be make a scene and get arrested and probably killed yourself, I'd be pissed. I would die literally mad.
She beefed it.
We would be in heaven or wherever we go after we die, and I'd be like, what the fuck was that, though?
Yeah,
dumbass?
I don't know why she came in the first... Well, she was probably mandated to go. I don't think anybody's going for fun.
You're telling me that the rebels don't have some way to avoid going?
Not if you're a known rebel sympathizer.
Okay, well then here's the deal. Okay, listen, I get it that it might have been, and I don't mean to sound callous because obviously the idea of watching you getting executed is horrifying. But I'm just like, what's the plan, girl? But it sounds like they were looking for her, is the thing. Because they arrested her immediately.
It is a little confusing.
Yeah, so if she was mandated to go, oh, well, oopsie, I shouldn't go anyway. Because they're going to arrest me if I do or don't. So I shouldn't go. Dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid. Do better rebelling. I'm just saying, if I'm going to interrupt an execution of the person I love, it's going to be with fucking guns.
I don't think she had any, but I get what you're saying.
You're telling me the rebels don't have guns? Sejanus has guns.
Well, if Sejanus starts giving guns over, he's going to get very much killed himself.
I'm just saying. I'd have a plan. I wouldn't just get killed myself.
Sure.
Stupid. Okay. And he goes, and you said you'd help. No, I made no promises. But if I can, I'm near the guardhouse. Perhaps I can find something out. Her family's frantic.
Boyo.
Oh, wonderful. Fantastic.
Boyo.
So now you're a rebel informant. I thought you were letting the whole rebel thing go.
But don't tell this kid.
I can't, all right? It's part of who I am. And you're the one who said I could help people in the districts if I agreed to leave the arena. I believe I said you could fight for the tributes, meaning you might be able to procure more humane conditions for them. Anus thinks he's the good guy. Anus absolutely thinks he's the good guy.
Well, this is
because he's like, look, I made the Hunger Games nicer.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is a reformist reform versus non-reformist reform argument. Because Coriolanus is like, yeah, we're going to make little tiny incremental changes forever, and never in a way that is inconvenient for me or the people I care about. But I can feel good about it. Maybe in 80 to 1,000 years, we'll have changed things by 8 degrees. And Sejanus is like, well, they said I have to work through lunch, so I'm going to shoot a missile into the police station. So listen.
In a world where you could be United States protests or France protests, be French protests. No, I mean, they really know how to make the government afraid of the people, and I really feel like we could do a little bit more of that.
Coriolanus I think the other thing is Coriolanus actively doesn't want change. He wants to be seen
because
doing the right
thing.
Slot. He wants to be seen having the right feeling, be like, oh, the Hunger Games, well, it's a necessary evil.
No,
go
it's not.
Fuck yourself, dog.
Go absolutely take a minute, buy a room, tenderly fuck yourself.
That definition of non-reformist reform music. Is also reductive and inaccurate, but the premise of non-reformist reform is rather than changing the rules to gradually change the system, you just completely change an underlying mechanic of the system and then force policy change as a result.
Throw bricks. Anyway.
That's what that is, basically, yeah.
Okay. And Sejanus says, humane conditions, they're being forced to murder each other.
Yeah.
And the tributes are from the districts too, so I don't really see a distinction. It's a tiny thing, Corio, to check up on this girl.
That's the thing, too. Even Sejanus's assistance here is pretty minimal.
He's like, is she alive?
Yeah,
yes,
he's like, oh, sure, I will carry a letter.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
But Coriolanus loves the taste of boot polish.
This motherfucker licks those boots so hard they shine. And he's like, one day I'll wear the boots. Fuck yeah.
I mean, in his case, he's right. He will one day wear the boots.
Yeah, and then he'll be fucking torn apart in those boots.
It's great, man. It's a great scene.
And then Sejanus reveals that Dr. Gall thinks he's committed treason. He says, my father went to see her before he went to Dean Highbottom and the board. Everyone knows she's really the one in charge. He went to ask if I might be given the chance you were to sign up for the Peacekeepers. So they were holding him.
Sejanus?
Yeah, they weren't sure what to do with him yet.
Yeah.
I thought it would be automatic if you were expelled like me. That was my father's hope. But she said, don't conflate the boy's actions. A piece of faulty strategy is not commensurate with a treasonous act of rebel support. Jesus, Gall, that was a word salad. A piece of faulty strategy is not commensurate with a treasonous act of rebel support.
And Coriolanus' takeaway from this is, she liked my strategy? Wait, go back. She said a nice thing about me, and I'm like, bro, she called you our air quotes friend a treasonous supporter of the rebels.
The fact that he writes her a letter, I cannot
hate this guy. Man,
like,
Sejanus is gonna die.
Over.
It's gonna be horrible.
Now what I'm going to do is cover my mouth with shoe polish. That's what I'm going to do. You absolute dickhead. Okay. And he's like, so she hasn't written me off entirely. He also finds out that Sejanus' father donated a lab and a gym and the Plinth Prize because daddy was trying to keep his son alive.
Daddy Warcrimes.
Daddy
We must have made that joke before. Have we not made that joke before?
I don't think we have.
Oh, come on. Strabo is absolutely Daddy Warcrimes.
Oh my God.
How have we never made the joke Daddy Warcrimes?
Oh, and now I'm trying to think.
That's what...
District 12 just got here this morning. $3 hidden in my picture frame. One me.
That's what Gale shippers call him. Daddy Warcrimes.
Daddy Warcrimes.
Yeah. No, they call him the Warcrimes Daddy. Ugh, I'm done. I hate this.
No, I like
Gale's
Daddy
the
Warcrimes
worst.
because it reminds me of Annie.
Yeah, that's the, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And Coriolanus is like, I meant like maybe you could take the officer's test and become a doctor and then help people, whatever. Oh yeah, they take a test. Coriolanus loves tests. He's like fucking salivating over the fact that he gets to take a test.
Well, it's because it's systemic. Because he is incapable of thinking outside of the system.
God, if I never have to open a blue book again, it'd be too soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no thanks.
Jesus. And he's like, I fucking love blue books. I'm like, of course you do. I'm going to fucking hit you with one. I wish someone to hit you.
I'm going to miss a lot about the Hunger Games. I'm not going to miss Coriolanus Snow.
You're going to miss me threatening the characters.
No, you're going to threaten a lot of characters in Wheel of Time as we go on.
There are some characters in ACOTAR that I'm so excited to have you meet.
I'm going to hate him. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. Okay. And then, he finds out that his plan to commit birdicide is going forward. Egicide.
Ornicide?
Ornicide.
That's not right, is it?
Ornithicide? This isn't ornithology.
Ornithicide, yeah.
Ornithicide.
It would be ornithicide.
So an ornithicide is going forward. And there's some lady named Dr. K with some glasses that are pink.
Oh yeah, she yelled at him because he was not in the way when Clemencia got bit by 11,000 snakes.
No, he was disturbing her birds.
Ah, yes, I'm sorry. Because Clemencia got bit by 11,000 snakes.
Which, I mean, here's the thing. If life went a different way, I would be your disturbing my birds lady. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Okay, then he starts going through Sejanus' shit.
Oh, fuck this guy.
Fuck you. Also, wait, Coriolanus' letter was basically like informant letter. Am I wrong? It was basically like, I'm going to tell you all the happenings.
Kind of. He was like, let me know how I can help.
I'm just giving her a friendly update.
Clown baby.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, he goes through Sejanus' locker. They included a stack of mementos, a pack of gum, and 3 medicine bottles prescribed by a capital doctor. 2 appeared to be sleeping capsules, and a third a bottle of morphling with a dropper built into the lid, much like the one he'd seen Dean Highbottom use on occasion. He knew Sejanus had been medicated during his breakdown. Ma had told him as much, but why had he brought these here? I don't know, because trauma's ongoing, you dumb fuck.
It's the...
Have you ever met a traumatized person?
It's the District 13 school of thought. Anything going wrong? Sedate them.
Honestly, work. He flipped through the rest of the contents. A scrap of fabric, stationery pens, a small chunk of marble crudely carved into something that might be a heart, and a pile of photos. The plinth said annual portraits taken. Wasp energy. And they went to TJ Maxx. Did all the like cheesy posts. Mm-hmm. That's what they are in my head. Ma Plinth was so excited about her TJ Maxx photos. Is it TJ Maxx that does them? What is the place that does them? Is it Walmart that does the cheesy photos? They're so funny. All of the pictures were of family, except an old photo of a group of school children. Coriolanus took it to be one of their class, but no one looked familiar. Well, of course not. You haven't met a single fucking one of them. And a lot of the kids were dressed in rather ill-fitting, shabby clothing.
He thought it was the capital class.
Oh, right.
But it's his District 2 class. And he's like, why are you taking a picture with all these bestial, half-human fucks?
Look at these children that are practically a litter.
Basically inhuman.
He
but
spotted
I'm a good
Sejanus.
guy.
I hate them so much. He spotted Sejanus in a neat suit, smiling pensively from the second row. Behind him towered a boy who he took to be much older. On closer inspection, though, the pieces fell together. It was Marcus. In a school photo from Sejanus' last year in District 2, before Daddy Warcrimes.
Daddy Warcrimes.
Tomorrow, tomorrow, in the capital, tomorrow, we're only betrayal away. Oh, wait. We're only asked to betray.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good. On the spot. There was no record of his capital classmates at all. Well, why would there be? They were fucks to him. Not even Coriolanus. For some reason, this seemed to be the greatest confirmation of where Sejanus' loyalties lay.
Just, Lucy Gray, hold his head under the water.
I know someone I'd like to see on the hanging tree. Anyway,
Ugh.
I want you like a bobble on that thing. What? What?
Oh, boy.
I just learned that British people say baubles instead of ornaments because baubles are like a particular kind of ornament.
Oh, like a bauble.
Like a bauble.
I thought you meant like a bobblehead, and I was like, what? Where are we going here?
No, a bauble.
Right.
But I thought it was so cute, I wanted to adopt it. Bauble.
It is cute.
So much cuter. Okay, and then he gets to the picture frame. The back panel seems slightly askew. Why don't you mind your fucking business? Your head is fucking askew. And a tiny corner of pale green paper peeked from the side. That's not just paper, he thought grimly, and slid the fasteners to free the panel. As it popped up, a stack of freshly minted bills spilled to the floor. Money, and quite a lot of it. Why would Sejanus have brought so much cash to his new life as a peacekeeper? Maybe because he's rich.
Could be.
Would Ma have insisted? No, not Ma. She seemed to feel money was at the root of their misery. Well, it was more the war profiteering that was at the root of their misery, but whatever. And then he's like, not Strabo, because he usually handles payoffs himself. Was this a lifetime of allowances carefully squirreled away for a rainy day? Withdrawn from the bank the day before his departure and hidden in his picture frame? Sejanus always complained about his father's habit of buying his way out of trouble, but had it been ingrained from birth? The plinth method of solving problems? Passed down from father to son? Distasteful, but efficient. See, this is the problem. He thinks everyone's like him. Distasteful, but efficient. I hate this guy. Okay.
He's the worst.
Thousands of bucks are in there. Well, what if he was like, maybe I'll see some extreme poverty in the districts and maybe I'll be able to alleviate it by giving them some money.
Imagine
Direct you're
relief
not a dickhead.
In my Hunger Games.
It isn't hard to do. Imagine you're not a dickhead. Okay. So, yeah, people are coming. He puts them back in. And Ma Plinth has sent over a bunch of, like, nice care packages for all of the other boys.
Yeah. Because she's
an
the
angel.
best.
She's a goddamn angel. No one deserves Ma Plinth but Sejanus.
Mm-hmm.
And Coriolanus says, thank goodness for your Ma. Otherwise, we'd be all flat broke. Yes, not a penny between us. The one thing Coriolanus had ever questioned was Sejanus' Oh, wait.
I gotta get this guy.
The one thing Coriolanus had never questioned was Sejanus' honesty. If anything, he'd have welcomed a little less of it. But this was a bald-faced lie delivered as naturally as the truth.
You talk about how much you hate him all the time, and then you proceed to be nice. You're a douche.
Which meant that now anything he said was suspect.
Get fucked, kid.
And that is the end of chapter 25. God, I fucking hate this kid. I hate him. Come on, I hate him. Can he die? Can he please die? I hate him.
You gotta give it 3 more books.
Okay.
Chapter 26, Allie, I have some notes.
I
do you
too.
have some
I'll
notes?
go first since you're pulling them up and I'm a professional. And
But they're right here.
I'm just kidding. Okay, not to agree with Anus, but there are some times that doctors give really eye-rolly advice because he has that rash and the doctor's like, try to keep it dry. And Coriolanus is like, I haven't been dry since I got here. You know what I mean? I was like, like when I'm like, I have fibromyalgia and they're like, well, you've got to avoid stress. And you go, gee, doc.
Would love to.
I'm cured. As if having fibro isn't stressful. I know. And I mean it with all due respect. But every now and then they do give eye-rolly advice. It's like how I have the skin picking issue. I have the skin picking issue that I've had for 20 years. And every now and then I'll get a new dermatologist because I'll move or something. And the dermatologist will look at it and be like, you got to stop doing that. And I'm like, I'm cured. Thank you. I'm cured. Thank you so much. I did not know. You are the first person to tell me in 20 years. But occasionally, I said all due respect to doctors, but occasionally y'all are silliness wrapped in a white coat. Just saying. Occasionally.
Love you.
Love you.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you for what you do. But occasionally you're silly. Okay. Oh no. I'm not really liking how these jabberjays work. Feels like something is coming from this.
Well, yes.
Like maybe they record something sensitive between Sejanus and someone else. God, I really wish I were wrong. I've never wanted to be more wrong.
Is this dude?
In my life. And then I said, Snow immediately wanting to kill the Mockingjays.
Really
like, we should destroy them all. Oh my God. It's interesting that the Mockingjays, which were a result of attempted capital surveillance during the war, became a symbol of rebellion. Perhaps because they're a symbol of resilience and the failure of the capital's oppression. And
it's fascinating, too, because Coriolanus goes on and on about how much he hates the Mockingjays because they can't be controlled and because they are not intended. And it just reinforces more and more how obsessed he is with, staying within the lines and everything being as it should be and
I
order
love
remaining.
Blue books. I love tests. I want to kick you in the face.
Well, but it makes so much sense because, he's the old establishment.
He is everything that's wrong with lawful evil.
Yeah. Well, he is lawful evil, isn't he?
Well, I feel like he starts as lawful neutral.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Because he really, he starts out as... Here's the thing. I'm not going to say this book is Coriolanus Snow's fall, because he starts out on page 4 you could sell Tigris, but it's certainly Snow's progressive journey towards becoming even more the worst than he was before.
I don't think he directly said we could sell Tigris.
He doesn't entertain it as an option.
No, I think he says that Tigris is the kind of person who could be taken advantage of super easily.
He thought of people putting a price on her. With her long pointed nose and skinny body, Tigris was no great beauty, but she had a sweetness.
I hate this man.
A vulnerability that invited abuse. She would find takers if she had a mind to.
Jesus Christ, that's your cousin who is practically a sister to you. You are just the worst.
The idea, admittedly in his defense, the idea made him feel sick and helpless and consequently disgusted with himself.
Oh, does it?
But
does it?
Yeah.
Imagine looking at your cousin who you love like a sister, who loves you like a brother, and thinking she has the kind of vulnerability that invites abuse. God, you're just the fucking worst. Okay. Damn, Olanus roasting Wordsworth over here.
Not that he's suggesting he would like to sell her.
He's listening to this poem going, what ass?
What a bunch of clown shit. He really leaned in.
Really? So does this all mean Lucy disappears like a ghost at the end?
I assume so.
Because they've already talked about her running away. Billy Taupe.
Yeah. Well, and she writes the hanging tree, which is an invitation to Coriolanus to run away.
Well, it also implies to me that Billy Taupe maybe knows where to go if they were to run away and stuff, Here for it, if true, literally ghost anus.
Do it.
And that's all I have. Your turn.
In some ways, it had been better to have her locked up in the Capitol. I'm done. Put down the book. Turn off the microphone. I'm done. This man is the worst.
He makes me want to flip tables. I'm done. Those things that people do where it's they're flipping a table. I just flip it.
Imagine having a non-transactional relationship, Coriolanus. This man was really pressed over some birds from day one. I mean, honestly, how quickly he goes to kill all these birds. Wipe out the species. Wild. Well, I don't run Panem yet. All right, chapter 25. Sejanus smacked himself on the forehead.
I don't run Panem, but I'm going to make sure that it stays pretty much the way that it is.
How did the test go? We'll see, I guess, said Coriol. Anyway, fuck, shit, bullshit. Goddamn, I hate this guy. And he thinks of Sejanus.
Hope you get uncontrollable mud butt.
He thinks of Sejanus as acting like a moth to the flame, and then he's like, that makes me think of Casca, the Aska high bottom.
That's way better than high as a kite bottom.
Casca the Aska high bottom.
That's way better than that.
And that moths to the flame.
You know why?
thing.
Because I bet Coriolanus is not funny. Like, I bet he is not a funny guy.
No. Who was he referring to with the moths to the flame? Oh, who cared? Drugged, hate-fueled, old... The Aska high bottom. No, he doesn't even say. The old high as a kite bottom. Better not to even wonder. Or you could, because it's like kind of an interesting train of thought.
It is an interesting train of thought, and it's about all of you.
You fuck. Yeah.
Doing the self-destructive thing as opposed to the constructive thing. Because you can't help yourselves. You're just so bent on revenge that you don't see that, like, you're just going to beget more fucking violence and just kick the can down the road in terms of problems. It just has to stop at a certain point.
So they put him on guard duty, and he just sits there and is like, oh man, I hope Billy Tope's not trying to talk to Lucy Gray. Man, I gotta make it clear. Maybe I should arrest him. And I'm like, bud, stop. Then he writes a nice note to Ma Plinth saying thanks, and I'm like, you fake ass. And he asks Fleur he writes some letters. He keeps thinking about Lucy Gray, writes more letters, thinks about Lucy Gray, Beanpole. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff about him being basically in basic training and having a terrible time and going out to start trying to trap the birds. And he has a conversation with Dr. K where she reveals that she was part of the Jabberjay project, because he's like, oh, I hope she doesn't remember me because it's so embarrassing if she remembers me. And then he finds out that she was somewhat important, and he's like, I hope she remembers me. Well, no, she's like, yeah.
Or I want to get to know her then.
No, she's like, yeah, it's interesting to see the Jabberjays again. He's like, oh, you were connected with that? He's like, okay, great. Maybe she's also had a humiliating failure, because if she's also had a humiliating failure, then, maybe we're on equal footing.
Oh my God.
And then she goes,
I can't imagine, like.
Wait, it gets worse. She goes, I headed it, said Dr. K significantly. A major public failure. Coriolanus felt more comfortable. He'd only embarrassed himself in the Hunger Games, not a nationwide war. Perhaps she would be sympathetic and give a favorable report to Dr. Gall on her return if he made a good impression.
Why?
Making an effort to engage her might pay off. This is...
Can I also ask, like, why do we hate High Bottom and not Gall? Because didn't they both kind of orchestrate your downfall?
High Bottom is more explicitly and directly mean to him.
Gall sent him into the Hunger Games and didn't care if he made it out.
Yes, I agree with you, but...
High Bottom never tried to get Coriolanus killed.
No, I know. He tried to I think to Coriolanus's reading, High Bottom is dismissive of him and dislikes him, whereas Gall... seems to...
Just doesn't care if he dies.
Doesn't care if he dies, but does respect him, which is like... I think Snow kind of lives and dies on whether or not people think he is good at stuff.
You know what? Here's an idea. I don't give a shit if you respect me, if I don't have to be put in mortal peril. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's the choice, I would not be like, fuck him, get me killed. But as long as you respect me, mommy. Like, no. Sir?
So we get the rundown on how the Jabberjays work. They have remote controls.
His
it's kind of cool.
His priorities suck.
Yeah, they do. We get a whole bunch of information, background about Mockingjays, Jabberjays. We kind of already know because of the main trilogy. And then he sings the anthem because they're talking about how Mockingjays work, and the Mockingjays sing back the anthem. And Coriolanus goes, we should kill them all. Kill them all? Why? Asked Dr. K in surprise. They're unnatural. Perhaps they'll hurt the other species. They appear to be rather compatible. And they're all over Panem, wherever Jabberjays and Mockingjays cohabitated. We'll take some back and see if they can reproduce Mockingjay with Mockingjay. If they can't, they'll all be gone in a few years anyway. If they can, what's one more songbird? He's like, God damn it, I really want to just wipe these fucking things out. I hate them so fucking much. They're the fucking worst. But then he's like extra nice to the birds to make up for the fact that he was proposing bird genocide.
This is sociopathic, that he is like aware that his thoughts are bad. And so well, not bad. But the fact that he is he changes himself to appeal to every person he's talking to, but not in a way that's like...
Because everybody does that to an extent.
No, yeah,
right?
everybody does that to an extent.
But
degree to which he tries to like calculate people is creepy. Am I wrong?
Well, he treats every single relationship as a transactional relationship.
Yes.
I think that's the other thing with Highbottom and Gall. Highbottom can give him a scholarship or not. And when he has said, I'm not giving you a scholarship, then he's like, great, fuck you. You cannot give me the thing I want. You will not give me the thing I want. I'm never getting anything out of you. Therefore, you're as good as dead. Gall could potentially give him something. Therefore, he cares about what she thinks.
Therefore, he's like, hey, queen.
Right? Sejanus, he doesn't think he can gain anything from a friendship with Sejanus, so he is dismissive.
Here's part 3 of my essay.
This is my AO3 article about, I don't know.
An AO3 article would have been better written than that essay.
But then Sejanus...
That's not a dig on Susan
AO3
Collins.
or AO3. AO3 is great.
Yeah, that was all props to AO3. And all hate to Coriolanus, not Sejanus.
Sejanus, he's dismissive of Sejanus as long as he thinks Sejanus can't do anything for him. But when Sejanus shows up in District 12...
Yes, this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's that, like, it's that he is crafting his personality, not because he wants to, like, make... This is the thing. We all do it, right? We all
everybody
change our
does
personality
this to an extent.
a little bit in order to fit the social situation. That's just called being a human being and adapting and being social and being fun to be around, right? Like, match the energy a bit. Mm-hmm. Because no one wants you screaming in a library. No, you know, we all match the energy that is expected and that we're supposed to be around. But it's the level at which it's like, it's transactional. I'm going to look at you as someone I can use at various points, and I'm not going to actually foster any genuine relationships. That's what's so freaky to me, is that it's all manufactured to like make people like him, but not so that they can be more comfortable with him, right? Or that you both can have a mutually better time. Because that's the thing, is like you kind of match the vibe of the group because you're like, I want to have a good time with these people. I want these people to have a good time and have a good time with me. And like, hopefully out of that, I will foster a genuine relationship because I'll click with somebody. But you definitely don't go like, I mean, Hollywood can be Hollywood, but you know, you don't go into a relationship going, what can they give me? That's so fucking gross and creepy.
Well, it's more that every single, there are obviously business relationships are going to be, that's going to be the leading thing. But Coriolanus is like every single friendship and relationship he has kind of with this idea of how can this benefit me?
Well, I guess, you know, like that's networking is obviously a thing in Los Angeles and is obviously a thing that we have to do. And it's not my favorite thing in the world. But what I do when I'm networking is I'm also trying to form genuine relationships. Like it's both. I'm hoping that I can come out of this with a professional friend.
Yeah.
Not because what turns people off faster than anything is the people who meet you and then immediately start asking for favors.
Yeah.
That's gross and disingenuous. And I think most of Hollywood at this point is not like that.
Coriolanus didn't mind the Jabberjays so much. They seemed rather interesting from a military standpoint, but something about the Mockingjays repelled him. He distrusted their spontaneous creation, nature running amok. They should die out, and die out soon.
I have bad news. They outlive you. You couldn't even kill birds.
So, it's this ice storm. People are throwing ice at each other. You shouldn't do that. And...
Fun police Gus over here.
Well, balls of ice? Very different from a snowball.
What's a little ball fight? Ice balls fight blue balls. What?
They go to the Hob. He and Sejanus go to the Hob for music time, and he invites Sejanus backstage. And Sejanus is like, oh, cool, sure, I guess. I didn't know I was invited. All right, let's go. And he gives Maud Ivory more popcorn balls.
And he's such a dick.
He's really nice.
During the song.
Yeah, he's really nice to Maud Ivory.
In his own head. Well, yeah.
Because, again, she can get him something.
Okay, I'm sorry, but any 17-year-old who says sweets for the sweet, red flag.
He's being playful. I get that.
That's a weirdly, like, grown-up thing to say. That's like something an old man says, but when it comes out of a 17-year-old's mouth, I'm like, he's trying to be charming.
Yeah, but, you know, I feel like old capital is very, like, 1920s coded.
All right, here's the thing. Everything that Coriolanus does is bitch eating crackers for me at this point. Fair. Like everything he does, like if Sejanus had said it, wouldn't bat an eye. Would not bat an eye. Not a single eye would be bat.
He sits down, talks to Lucy Gray, tells her like, "Hey, guess what? We captured a shitload of birds." And she's like, "Well, that's sad. They were out in the wild. And now they're caged up. That sucks."
That's like horrifically sad and awful. And he's like, "We're gonna kill them on top of everything else."
Sounds like torture. Having someone controlling your voice like that. And he's like, "Well, that's a little dramatic." I don't think there's a human equivalent.
You see, tell me you don't get her without telling me you don't get her.
Really? Do you always feel free to speak your mind, Coriolanus Snow? Free to speak his mind? Of course he did. Well, within reason. He didn't go around shooting his mouth off about every little thing. What did she mean? She meant what he thought about the capital, and the Hunger Games, and the districts. The truth was, most of what the capital did, he supported, and the rest rarely concerned him. But if it came to it, he'd speak out, wouldn't he? Against the capital?
No, because you're a fuckface.
Like Sejanus had? Even if it meant repercussions? He didn't know.
Oh my God.
But he felt on the defensive. I do. I think you should say what you think.
No, you don't.
That's what my daddy thought, too.
You just wrote the most boot-looking letter to Gaul in the world.
And he ended up with more bullet holes than I could count on my fingers. What was she implying? Even if she didn't say so, he'd bet those bullets came from a peacekeeper's gun, perhaps from someone dressed exactly as Coriolanus was now. And my father was killed by a rebel sniper.
No, he wasn't.
Now you're mad. No. But he was.
It was a murder.
I'm just tired. I've been looking forward to seeing you all week.
Job.
And I'm sorry about your father. I'm sorry about my father. But I don't run Panem.
It was a hit job.
This is an interesting conversation because she's like the most basic fundamental concept where she's like, it sure is a shame when people control other things. And he's like, no, it's not. And then she's like, well, how do you feel about stating your opinion? And then he just has a total tantrumy meltdown.
Because he's like, you're implying that, like, your dad got killed by people like me. And I'm like, he
probably did.
He did. Well, how dare you say that to me? Well, go fuck yourself. Again, like, I invite you to go rent a motel, light some candles, put on some romantic music, and gently but vigorously fuck yourself. Like, here's the thing. Not to compare losing fathers, but a distant father got sniped versus I watched my father get riddled with bullet holes in front of me. Lucy wins. Lucy wins.
Kinda.
Kinda.
No, I mean, it's pretty bad.
Lucy wins.
I'm being
like,
facetious.
I'm not trying to make it like, oh, let's do the dead dad Olympics here. But Lucy wins the gold medal.
So they decide that tomorrow he's going to come to the lake with them, and because
there's a lot. Wait, can we just say there's a lot of dead dads?
There are a lot of dead dads.
Like every dad is dead.
Yeah, pretty much all of them.
Except for Peeta's dad. Peeta.
Well, he's dead by the end. Yeah, he is dead by the end.
Oh my God, I can't think of it. And Gale doesn't have a dad. Gale's dad is dead.
Gale's dad's dead.
Peeta's dad is dead. Katniss's dad is dead.
Snow's dad is dead.
Snow's dad is dead. Hamish's dad is dead.
Lucy Gray's dad is dead.
Lucy Gray's dad is dead. Joanna's dad is dead.
Joanna's dad is dead. Finnick, we don't know. There's a lot of discussion online about whether or not Finnick was a volunteer, and I think it's interesting.
That is interesting. He's from 4, so
yes, it's possible. Very
possibly.
Yeah.
But then, how did Annie get picked?
Could have also been a volunteer.
I don't think Annie would have volunteered.
Anyway, so Coriolanus is like, well, I'm not going to talk to Lucy Gray, so I might as well just get fucking blackout drunk on moonshine. I'm like, and then he starts drinking aggressively and feels bad about the way he behaved. And then Maud Ivory sings the Wordsworth poem that we read before. It's slightly different and slightly more
Lucy's going to disappear.
Elaborate, and Coriolanus,
and I hope she does,
is like, oh, lots of nonsense words, but she got lost in the snow. Well, no wonder if they sent her out into a snowstorm, and then she probably froze to death.
Negligent parenting.
And then he goes, oh, good, they found her. And I'm only not reading the song again because I read it before.
And then he's annoyed they found her. And then it was like, no, she was a ghost. And he goes, a ghost?
Good.
Boo.
They found her footprints. Happy ending. It was one of those silly things.
Oh, my God.
Like that song Lucy Gray sung about a man they thought had frozen to death. They tried to cremate him in an oven, but he thawed out and he was fine. It's Sam somebody. I know this song.
I know, I do too, but what
I forgot the name of it.
The Cremation of Sam McGee.
Yeah, that's the one. A ghost story. Ugh, boo, so ridiculous. Well, he'd try hard to love it when he saw the covey tomorrow, but really, who named their child after a ghost girl? Although if the girl was a ghost...
Hey, girlfriend, your name is stupid.
Where was her body? Well, maybe she got tired of her negligent parents sending her into blizzards and ran off to live in the wild.
Or maybe she got tired of her stupid-ass boyfriend.
Why didn't she grow up? He couldn't make sense of it, and the white liquor wasn't helping. It reminded him of the time he hadn't understood the poem in rhetoric class, and Livia Cardew had humiliated him in front of everyone. What a dreadful song. Maybe no one would mention it.
Oh my God.
No, they would. Maud Ivory would expect a response, so he'd say it was brilliant and leave it at that. What if she wanted to talk about it?
Your voice for him is so, perfectly assholey.
Thank you. Coriolanus decided to put it to Sejanus, who'd always been good at rhetoric, just to see if he had any thoughts. But when he leaned across Bug, he found Sejanus's crate was empty.
Because he's doing rebel shit.
Do you want to talk about the song, the poem at all? It's good.
I think we've talked about it, right?
I can't talk now. I'm doing rebel shit.
I can't talk right now. I'm doing hot rebel shit.
Yeah. It's a good poem. I had forgotten or didn't realize in the original reading that the implication was that she's a ghost. But yeah.
I think Lucy ghosts him.
I think she does. I think she jets. Maybe she doesn't
die.
And
good for her.
I'm assuming now that she doesn't die.
I don't think she dies. Yeah. I think like a ghost, she'll be gone, to quote Beyonce.
Anyway, that's the end of chapter 26.
Chapter 27.
Yes.
Gus. I've got some notes.
I have one.
Who would have thought driving up in a flashy car to watch hangings would be bad PR?
Huh.
Not liking music is a red flag.
It is.
Because Coriolanus goes I hate music.
Well, it's funny because he didn't before. He's becoming more and more like his dad and less like his mom.
Ugh. Types of music, sure. You can be I don't like folk. You'd be wrong. But whatever. Whatever you decide you don't like. But I even take issue with people who are I don't like an entire genre. I go, you just haven't found the right one. There's no way. All of sci-fi, all of folk music, you just don't like the entire hundreds of years of canon. Okay. But yeah, not liking all music is a red flag. Yes?
Little much.
Yeah. It'd be I don't like food. What? What does that even mean? You don't like food. I don't like beverages. Motherfucker, what? I don't like social.
I don't have online. I don't like online, although that's fair.
Well, I don't know. But you know what I mean? It's just that's a silly thing to say. Don't do it, Sejanus. Him talking to Coriolanus. I'm
no,
his eyes filled with tears, and I was you dipshit.
Because Coriolanus, being the rat bastard that he is, was hey, you can talk to me anytime, bro, right?
You know what I like to think about our English as a second language listeners?
Huh?
Is that they're learning all kinds of new ways to
Exciting
swear
new curse
from
words,
us,
yes.
and it makes me happy.
Well, as you know, it is as though the man in this podcast just learned to swear. My favorite review we've ever gotten.
Yeah. But, it feels like Coriolanus has just been hit with a fuck stick over and over and over again. It's just you're a fuck. And that's what's happened to him. And also, just in all caps, no, because I accidentally wrote a couple I's in there.
That's the right, yeah. My only note is,
Ballad.
Yeah.
Of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay. Coriolanus scanned the area, trying to hide his growing anxiety.
Trash
Where was
man.
Sejanus? Adrenaline fought with the white liquor for control of his brain. He'd been so steeped in music and alcohol that he really didn't know when Sejanus had disappeared. What if he hadn't had a change of heart about Lil? Was he out there in the crowd, conspiring with the rebels at this very moment? And then Sejanus comes back in and says that the liquor runs right through him, and Coriolanus is that's not true.
That's not how moonshine
liquor
works.
doesn't run through anyone.
That
and I'm
isn't how it be. You are not a beerman.
Yeah. And that he consumed too small of an amount for that too. So he's like, he lied again. How dare he lie twice when he's doing rebellious activities, and I'm going to tell on him the minute that he tells me the truth?
I found a rare clip of Coriolanus Snow from the film.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring.
He's trash. So then Coriolanus invites him to go with him to the lake with Lucy Gray and the rest of the covey.
But he is hungover as fuck. And I'm like, you deserve it.
And then he's just even more of an asshole the next day in his head and out loud.
Because he's getting more and more caustically toxic in his head as the book goes on.
He's just getting worse and worse. Like, so Maud Ivory gets a blister and Sejanus bends down and is like, why don't you get a piggyback ride? Because she's 8 years old and her shoes are bad. And he thinks to himself, once the precedent was set, they took turns carrying the little girl. So he's mad at Sejanus for being like, let me carry you, 8-year-old child who has a massive blister so that you don't get worse blisters. And he's mad that Maud Ivory keeps singing the Oh My Darling Clementine song and that the Mockingjays pick it up.
He hates the Mockingjays so much.
He hates the Mockingjays. And then they talk about the poem. And Maud Ivory thinks that Lucy Gray flies like a bird, and Clerk Carmine says she's an idiot because she's obviously a ghost. And then Coriolanus says, then where's her body? And Coriolanus feels better about the song because at least he knew that there was an erudite interpretation to take. What a fuckhead.
Because he's like, oh,
and
it's not an interpretation.
Swimming.
That's the thing. He's like, it's not open to interpretation. Great, there's a right answer. He's so black and white. He's so color within the lines.
I have trouble with people like this who are just so rules. Like, fuck you. Some rules are meant to be broken. Like, yeah, don't be a dick, but like, you know, some rules are stupid. Are they not?
Well, this isn't even rules. He's just like, and I understand that there are some people who
you love rules. I know you love rules.
Well, but I understand that
Gus
wait.
rules.
I do. I understand that there's like, there are a lot of people who just don't think laterally that way, and that's okay. I'm not saying that you have to like to do creative thinking about everything, but the thing with Coriolanus is like, if there's not a right answer to stuff, if he can't reduce something down to here is what I should do, here is how it should go, he gets pissed off at it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the Mockingjays. He's like, well, this isn't supposed to be this way. It's not correct. And yeah, I love rules, but not
That's
this way.
You are a Boy Scout.
Yes.
Eagle Scout. Actually. Sorry.
It's fine. I love rules, but like not this way. I like rules when, you know, they serve a purpose.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're like Coriolanus Snow.
Yeah. I just want to make that clear.
I just knew the minute that I said some rules are fucking dumb that you'd be like, well, I mean, rules are good
dumb
too. Because this is me and Gus. I am definitely chaotic good and you are lawful good. And together, I think we make a good neutral.
I think it's more because like if I go into a situation where there are a bunch of rules and I don't understand the rules, I'm going to err on the side of assuming the rules were put in place for a good reason. If I determine eventually that the rules were in fact put in place because of dumb bullshit, then fuck the rules. But, you know, if the sign says don't step on the grass, I'm not going to go, you're not my mom, and step on the grass and discover that they've covered the grass with broken glass, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think for me it's more like I wouldn't step on the grass, but like what if there's a puppy with a hurt paw on the grass and then on my ass?
Oh, well, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah. And I found out that I'm Covey because she says the Covey believe you're put on earth to reduce misery, not add to it. Do you think the Hunger Games are right? I'm not even sure why we do them, to be honest. But you don't really do much to stop them.
Yeah, I don't get it, but you know, they say it's for a good reason. Oh no.
But I do think people are forgetting the war too fast. What we did to each other, what we're capable of, districts and capital both.
But why?
I know the capital must seem hard line out here. Oh my God.
Why are you upset about that?
He's so a milquetoast.
Yeah, bro. Like, that's stupid.
Both
Why
sides
are you upset that people are like, this not help? What?
What's the word I'm looking for? This milquetoast moderate bullshit. Anyway, sorry. Districts and capital both. I know capital must seem hard line out here. You think?
You know, they only murder our children.
Hey. 2 children per
Just a
place
couple.
per town a year. Okay, that's not that many. That's less than what qualifies as a serial killer. Okay, per year. 1 less. But we're just trying to keep things under control by oppressing the shit out of you and making your lives miserable. Otherwise, there'd be chaos and people running around killing each other. You know, that sounds like people. We love killing each other. Like in the arena. This was the first time he tried to put these thoughts into words with anyone other than Gaul. He felt a little unsteady, like a toddler learning to walk. That's how you act in life. You're like a fucking toddler learning to walk, but when it comes to empathy.
He's the worst.
He's one of those guys who needs to do ayahuasca to understand what empathy is. You know? And that just, where I'm just like, you didn't know that like we're all connected and that like we're all part of the,
You didn't realize that your actions affect other people?
You know, I just, like, I've nothing against people, you know, doing things and whatever. I'm nothing against any of that. But like when they come back with these revelations that are like, I just learned what empathy is. You're kind of like, at 30? Huh? That's concerning. You don't think about other people ever? Oh my God. Until you got so fucking fucked up that suddenly you learned to feel? What happened? Anyway, it's very concerning.
You know the screenshot of Cillian Murphy and Oppenheimer where he's got his hand on his face, like his fingers kind of extended and his fingers are kind of touching his forehead and he's looking down and off to the side. Is it where
it kind of like spirals in on him?
It's
lying
not
in bed?
No, he's like sitting in a chair.
Oh, yeah.
And he's leaning forward and he's got his hand on his forehead and he looks like he's
in fairness to me, half the movie is Cillian Murphy.
Is Cillian Murphy looking upset?
No hate at all, but half the movie is Cillian Murphy, like
with his hand on his
staring
forehead,
into the distance,
but like
concerned.
That one particular shot, and I'll try to find an image of it and put it in the description of Cillian Murphy just like leaning forward with his hand, his fingers on his head, just looking into the distance, concerned. That's me every time Coriolanus Snow does anything. It's that or the emote somebody made of me. I think it was Anna, because it's always Anna. Thanks, Anna. Where there's lasers coming out of my eyes from the last live reaction we did.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had enough of this dude.
God. This is the only thing I won't miss.
Oh, yeah. And then he's like, oh, were your family rebels? And, because she says, so they keep me safe. And what do I give up for that? Give up? What? Nothing. The Covey did. Can't travel. Can't perform without their say-so. Can only sing certain types of songs. Fight getting round up and you get shot dead like my daddy. Try to keep your family together and you get your head broken like my mama. What if I think that price is too high to pay? Maybe my freedom's worth the risk. So your family were rebels after all.
God, shut up.
My family were Covey, first and last. Not district, not capital, not rebel, not peacekeeper. Just us. And you're like us. No, he's not. Bad judge of character. Girl, run. You want to think for yourself. You push back. I know because of what you did for me in the games. He just thought you were hot. Unfortunate.
Also, no. Even worse. He thought she was his meal ticket.
Yeah.
Remember, again, it's transactional.
Yeah, exactly. If she wasn't useful to him, he wouldn't have given a shit. He doesn't love you. He wants to possess you.
Yeah, he wants to own you.
Ugh, and there's such an important distinction. He said, here's what I believe. If the capital wasn't in charge, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because we'd have destroyed ourselves by now. God, I hate you. People have been around a long time without the capital. I expect they'll be here a long time after. I love her. Not many of them. Pan Am used to be magnificent. Look at it all now. Oh, because it was your fault. You fucking...
You clown.
And their conversation gets interrupted before he can wave any more red flags in her face.
He does have a lot of them. He's like a magician, pulling them out.
And he thinks about the mockingjays. Listening to the birds, Coriolanus noticed the absence of jabberjays. The only explanation he could think of was that the mockingjays had begun to reproduce without them, either with one another or with the local mockingbirds. This elimination of the capital birds from the equation deeply disturbed him.
Fuck you.
Here they were, multiplying like rabbits, completely unchecked, unauthorized.
Yes, they're birds.
Co-opting capital technology.
They're birds.
He really is going to do War of the Birds.
They were released. They're birds.
Well, he's upset because he's a bird brain. He didn't like it one bit. The way he thinks about Maud Ivory pisses me off. Like, he goes, Maud Ivory finally napped. God. And she says about CC, I worry about him. He misses Billy Tope. Do you? No, not since the reaping.
He goes, all right, good.
The reaping. He remembered the ballad she'd sung for the interview. What did it mean when he said you were the bet he lost in the reaping? He bet he could have us both. Me and Mayfair. It was a gamble. Mayfair found out about me.
We went, oh, well,
I found out about her.
That's straightforward, I guess. Mm-hmm. We were like, oh, it was this thing. It was like Pepe Sylvia plot, and he was going to go undercover. It was like, no, he was just fucking around.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
She had her pa call my name in the reaping. I don't know what she told him. Clearly not that Billy Tope was her flame. Something else. We're outsiders here, so it's easy to lie about us. I'm surprised they're together. Well, Billy Tope's always going on about how he's happiest alone. But what he really wants is some girl to take care of him. Oh, like a transactional relationship? I guess Mayfair seemed like the likely candidate for the job, so he went after her. No one can pour on the charm like Billy Tope. That girl didn't stand a chance. Besides, she's got to be lonely. No brothers or sisters, no friends. Miners hate her family. Driving up in their flashy car to watch the hangings. What a great PR move that would be. People are suspicious of us, but they despise them for some reason that seems to be a mystery. And then he asks, he goes, he didn't like the way her rage against Billy Tope had faded.
Oh my God.
Is he trying to get back with you?
Because I've had enough of this.
Oh,
Shut the fuck up!
Came to my meadow yesterday. Big plans. Wants me to meet him at the hanging tree and run off. The hanging tree? Why there? That's where we used to go. It's the one place in District 12 you're guaranteed some privacy. Wants us to go north. North. Thinks there's people up there.
That's District 13.
3 people. He says we'll find them and then come back for the others.
This was what I was thinking of.
This is Gale coded.
It's
all of it.
Heavily. Oh, Billy Tope is heavily Gale coded.
He's piling up supplies.
But then again, so is Coriolanus.
Not sure what. But what does it matter? I can't ever trust him again. Coriolanus felt jealousy tighten his throat. He thought she'd banished Billy Tope, and here she was casually telling him about some chance meeting in the meadow. Only it hadn't been chance. He'd known where to find her. How long had they been there with him, pouring on the charm, tempting her to run away? Why had she stayed to listen?
Stop.
Trust is important.
Shut up. God, he's the worst.
I think it's more important than love.
I gotta go reread the end of Mockingjay where he's beaten to death by a mob.
I love all kinds of things.
That made me feel bad.
I love all kinds of things I don't trust. Thunderstorms, white liquor, snakes. Sometimes I think I love them because I can't trust them. And how mixed up is that? I trust you, though. Girl, no. You do not.
I wouldn't.
Why? Well, I have to give that one some thought. And then she kisses him. Ugh, fuck.
You do not
These
thinking.
New developments upset him.
You're not thinking, you're snowblind.
She literally just basically says that she loves and trusts him. And he goes, these new developments upset him.
This is terrible.
Maybe it was a mistake to be getting so attached to her. And something else bothered him too. It was the song she'd been playing in the meadow that first day about the hanging.
Deep breath.
He thought then. But it had mentioned meeting up at the hanging tree as well. If that was their old place, why was she still singing about it? Maybe she was only using him to get Billy Tope back, playing the two off each other.
Oh my God, he's the worst.
And then he asks Maud Ivory, so do you see Billy Tope these days?
Stop.
Oh no, he's not one of us anymore.
Oh my God, you're so dumb.
Don't let him around Sejanus. He's sweet and Billy Tope feeds on sweet.
I'm Oppenheimering.
No, I know. And he finds out that Sejanus went to the hub and he makes up an excuse to go get him. And Sejanus makes up a lie about looking for a pocket knife. And Coriolanus says he had to find out what Sejanus was mixed up in. Logic had failed to induce a confidence. Would intimacy work? This is the thing. He's like using the feelings against people, because that's what's fucking creepy. Is it's not like, oh, I'm going to adapt to kind of like fit a situation, or like because I want someone to be more comfortable around me or whatever, or put on myself in the best light. It's like, I want to figure out what strategy to use to get what I want.
And
from
we've
this person.
talked before about how
creepy.
in acting you use tactics, and it is natural to do something akin to this, but he is doing it purely from a calculated and transaction, like all the time.
It's the all the time of
That's
it
the
that's
issue.
weird. He said, would intimacy work? It wouldn't hurt to try. A few blocks from the base, he laid a hand on Sejanus' shoulder, bringing them both to a stop. You know, Sejanus, I'm your friend. More than a friend. You're the closest thing I'll ever have to a brother. Oh my God. And there are special rules for family.
And this is just a lie. He's just
He
lying.
hates Sejanus. He doesn't give a shit about Sejanus at all. Sorry, Petey. If you need help, I mean, if you get into something you can't handle, I'm here. Tears welled up in Sejanus' eyes, and that's when I was like, he's dead.
Yeah,
Thank you, Corio. That means a lot. You may be the only person in the world who I actually trust. These people who are too good for this world, trusting people they really shouldn't. And then they hug. And he says, just promise not to do anything stupid, okay? He felt him nod in assent, but knew the likelihood of his keeping that promise was almost nil. They go back. He's allowed to, like, play with the jabberjays and shit. And he goes to, and Sejanus visits Coriolanus at the place where they're keeping the jabberjays. His eyes swept the hangar to ensure they were alone, and he spoke in a hushed voice. Listen, I've only got a few minutes. I know you won't approve of what I'm going to do, but I need you to at least understand it. After what you said the other day about us being like brothers, well, I felt I owe you an explanation. Please hear me out. This was it then, the confession. Coriolanus' entreaties for sanity and caution had been weighed and found insufficient. Misguided passion had won the day. Now was the time for the pieces to be explained. The money, the guns, the base map. The moment the whole treasonous rebel plot would be revealed. Once Coriolanus heard it, he'd be as good as a rebel himself. A traitor to the capital. He should panic, or run, or at least try to shut Sejanus up. But he did none of these things.
Shut your face.
Instead, his hands acted on their own. Like the time he'd dropped the handkerchief into the tank of snakes before he'd been aware of deciding to do it.
Both of these things.
Now his left hand adjusted the cover of the jabberjay cage, while his right, concealed from Sejanus' view by his body, dropped to the counter where a remote sat. Coriolanus pressed record, and the jabberjay fell silent.
Oh, you stupid boy. Because I've had enough of this dude.
What does this one do? Oh,
That's
yeah,
us forgetting that ever happened, because that is the worst.
I hate this guy so much.
But this is how these people are.
I hate this guy. This is a great book. I'm having a wonderful time. I'm having a
This
great
is terrible. This is horrible. We're having the best
wonderful time. All right. Well,
thank you so much for listening, everybody.
yeah.
This is Wheel Takes Podcast.
By the time this is up, we will have listened to the end of this live already. Unfortunately, we had to rejigger things because the movie is leaving theaters, and
we want to see it.
I've never seen a Hunger Games movie in theaters, and we kind of want to see it. So if you want to see us react to the last few chapters, it'll be on YouTube for a little while for pint level patrons and up. Probably like a week, and then I might take it down. But hey, thanks for listening. We have social media if you want to know what we've got going on. It's linked down below. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes. You can always leave us a rating and a review, which helps a bunch.
It helps us a ton. Thank you so much to the person who left us one recently.
Thanks.
You're the best.
Other than that, do you want to do Mind Meld again?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
This is only our second to last time.
For this series.
Oh, I guess that's true.
All right.
All right.
3, 2, you have one?
No.
Okay.
Okay, ready.
3, 2, 1.
Jabberjay.
Whoa! Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.